Hey, if you were to skateboard home from your work to your home in Melbourne, in a sort of quirky montage in a kind of fun indie movie way, what might you see along the way, friend?
Mostly me getting my wheels caught in tram lines. Swooped by spring magpies, protecting their young. Unreasonably, I might say. And
I'm not interested.
I'm not. This isn't even the park. You left the park to come get me. And now you want me dead. And the general heroin problem near where I live.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Whimsical. It's amusing.
It's perfect for a Michael Nyman track.
It's not all that far from San Francisco, to be honest.
It reminds me of when I was woken up one morning by this horrible noise, and I went outside and figured out that it was a squirrel up a tree barking. Squirrels can bark. They go, "Meow, meow, meow, meow."
God, only London squirrels, though.
Only London squirrels do this horrible shrill cry of pain. And I looked it up, and it says they do it when they feel threatened. Motherfucker, I was asleep. Now I want you dead. Now I'm a threat.
Was it just looking at you through the window? Yeah, shooter.
Stay away from our kids. I will destroy everything you've ever loved if you don't let me sleep right now.
Is that a tiny squirrel gun? Yeah, I got one bullet, though. Oh, shit.
Hello and welcome to One Good Thing, the podcast that is going to go to San Francisco and is going to wear whatever it likes in its hair.
Aww.
Anything.
Yeah.
We're going to pick.
Please.
I'm Paul Cisco.
I am one thing.
Oh, good shit, you were the one.
Yeah.
Most people aren't, but this guy.
Exception that proved the rule, they said.
Just a Paul. That covers it all.
I'm just a Paul. It covers it all. Stay in school.
Check out my drawer.
Yeah. What you looking at?
The height of rap history. It is time for another great film.
Ooh.
Unbelievably, it's been 10 weeks since we did last one of these. And with that sentiment and the way I expressed it, this is officially an old man podcast. So welcome, fellow old men. Time passes quickly, doesn't it?
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Haircuts.
Things are changing.
What are they like?
Oh, God. Things are changing at a slightly faster pace than I'm comfortable with.
All the rebellious spirit that I once relished is now turned against me and what I represent, and I don't like that.
I don't like that. I'm not willing to change.
I think young people should be able to find their own way, so long as it's the way I found when I was young. Ah, yes. Every 10 episodes, we attempt to challenge the cummy old expression, they don't make them like that anymore, by highlighting contemporary movies that might have a shot at classic movie status, avoiding genre films and our personal top 10s whilst we do it. I am back in the driving seat just for a temporary switch so that we can have Goodman pick something during Goodman season. So I have chosen Joe Talbot and Jimmy Fails' 2019 film, The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
I always come back to the old house. What if it's empty? What if we just peeked inside? We could throw parties. You could put on one of your plays. We could yell.
Who is this house?
Our old house.
That's not your old house, and that's not your neighborhood.
You told me what he does, Paul. What's his name? Kill me.
Oh, yes. Oh, no. Oh, that is a burn. That is a burn on lovable man Jimmy Fails.
Oh, my God. I love him so much, it doesn't even feel good that I did that ironically.
Oh, God. Who the hell is Joe Talbot? Well, calm down. He's an up-and-comer, and this is his first feature film. And he grew up in San Francisco with lead actor Jimmy Fails, who also co-wrote the film with Rob Reichert. Richard. Or Rickert.
Rickert.
Reichert.
Hi, I'm Rickert. And I'm here to say...
What are you looking at? They wanted to make the film, but apparently in terms of a film scene, there is dick all in San Francisco, which is weird, because it's in the top 10 most filmed cities in the world, with all these massive big productions shooting there, but no local film scene for local people. Oh my God, a theme! Oh shit, it's rare to encourage them out here in the wild.
Quick, it's like a candle flame. Don't give it too much attention or it'll burn you.
Yeah.
I don't know candles.
It's so beautiful. Get him away. Why do we invite him to these candle-lit suppers that we have? Oh, God. They got advice by sending a cold email to Barry Jenkins, who shot Medicine for Melancholy in San Francisco before leaving for literally anywhere else. So please do all feel free to email Barry Jenkins, because apparently he's got nothing better to do.
It's open for business.
Happy to help. Anyone. Sweet God. The film was initially crowdfunded, but then caught the attention of Plan B Entertainment's Brad Pitt's production company. Unfinished sentence. Plan B Entertainment, which
Good
is
enough,
Brad
yeah.
Pitt's production company, and apparently the director's short film was screened during the production of Ad Astra to the crew, which is the first good thing I've heard about the involvement of Ad Astra.
I liked Ad Astra.
It's all right. The film was heavily influenced by Ghost World, which is why Thora Birch from Dungeons & Dragons cameos as an asshole on a bus.
Yeah, that explains that.
That explains that. Critics had the courage to see beyond the stories the film was born into. Campbell over at Empire said, "Half mood piece, half character study. The Last Black Man in San Francisco is a deeply moving lament on the effect of gentrification on the people on the Bay Area's margins."
2 stars. Sorry, I've been listening to.
stars.
It's been hard to get rid of the Halliwell stank.
I suppose it's a
Masterpiece of originality.
a meaningful rumination on what it means to have a home and the purpose of the soul. But other than that, very little to recommend it. With some fucking trepidation, I turned to Google. However, Kian Ong over on Google says, "Besides Joker, this is probably my favourite movie of 2019. It's absolutely gorgeous." Very similar
Wow.
experiences.
I mean, look,
Look, people are not one thing.
people are not one thing.
Except you.
And except for me. And I've made peace with that. But also, I understand trepidation because it's Google and because it said Joker.
Yes.
But there are normal people who like
like Joker.
who like Joker for many reasons other than
Yes.
it makes them more of an edgelord. I thought Joker was a
great.
fairly good movie. And
Yeah.
it's felt a bit weird about the use of Gary Glitter in it. But liking those two movies we'll feel weird. We'll feel weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll feel weird on a daily basis, and it's not always because of Gary Glitter. And I just want to say that now.
Always is with me.
Except, okay, I'm one thing. It is always Gary Glitter is the cause of your depression, but everyone else has both of these things working.
Gary Glitter is the cause of my depression is the name of my new EP, so look out for that. And
I can't wait.
Whilst you're doing that, in all seriousness, the Google reviews were actually really good. Lots of different experiences and perspectives, all celebrating the film, because I guess the platform does let everyone express themselves, and that's just not best demonstrated by the Google review section for the Nan movie.
Yeah.
That wasn't the meeting point, the forum for public thought that one might hope.
Maybe every time you go to Google reviews for one of the bad movies we do, you should also find the Google reviews for a movie we love and just read a couple of those at the same time.
Without
so that's
establishing that's what I'm doing. Okay, here we are on Grown Ups 3, and let's lead this review. The Matrix is my favourite movie. A lot of positivity there.
Great.
Speaking of which, the film has 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, 83% on Metacritic, 85% on Google. Google liked this
Wow.
more than the critics. But it only made an all-right profit. So, Paul, you Jimmy Fails.
Man.
Stop fixing my house!
Why? You don't go anywhere near it.
Oh, I hate my house. That's the problem.
It's true.
I'm
You
trying
hate
to
your house
kill it
and
from the
yourself.
inside.
It's because you're in it. That's why you hate it.
Every so often I just come out and kick the fireplace. Piece of shit.
The witch's hat in this movie does remind me a lot of where we used to live and where you currently live.
Yes, it does. The turret. My beloved turret that I love more than anything.
So you like to just get up in there naked and wait out the full moon.
I have been up in there, and it was the best moment of my life.
Every full moon.
And since subsequently my flatmate has bought a telescope, and we now have aspirations of befriending the lady who lives next door and being able to go up in the turret with a telescope and becoming a full-on pirate.
Oh, brilliant! Well, get your Legos for that parlay.
And getting onto the very last register.
I thought you meant get the last boat out of this sinking hellhole we call a world.
Through imagination.
Yeah, they all drowned, man.
Well, let's have a little plot rundown of this wonderful film.
Yeah.
And we start with a perfectly normal San Francisco scene. You know, just a bunch of guys in hazmat suits cleaning a neighborhood that kids are playing in, whilst a preacher on an actual soapbox points out how terrible everything is, and then two grown men skateboard away together on one skateboard.
Yeah.
Classic scene.
It's hard to think too much about what's going on because it's just fucking stunning.
So I urge you, fight for your land. Fight for your home. Fight for your
Escape.
This here? This is the edge, bruh. The final frontier of manifest destiny. Last edge of the city. Man, 2 steps further, you'll be drinking that filthy salt water. But we built these ships, dredged these canals. In San Francisco, they never knew existed.
Yeah. What's this film about?
What's it about? Well, we got Jimmy Fails,
Oh, yeah.
and his best friend Montgomery, or Mont. And they go and sneak into a very sexy house. But it's not for the usual reasons of taking a dump on all the furniture that I break into houses for. This used to belong to Jimmy's father before they got turfed out. Jimmy's family, in fact. And indeed, his grandfather built the place.
In the 40s, yes.
In the 40s, he built a Victorian house. It was a radical movement, but he did.
Well, that's San Francisco, you know. That's why we love you. Safan, as I like to call it.
Just nobody is obeying the sort of traditional expectations of architecture at the time.
No.
You have to appreciate that.
It's amazing. And, and he likes to remind people of that fact by sneaking in and engaging in maintenance of the place and painting it and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
that's because the lady who lives there doesn't look after it.
she's too busy hating herself and you. And she throws a croissant at him.
Stop pelting him, bloody locals, caring about my stuff.
Just get the heck out of here, man.
Oh, he's not hurting anything, Mayor.
Oh, he's painting the house now?
Well, yeah.
Stop fixing my house.
I'm almost done. Just hold on.
Get away doing this for free. Who do you think you are? I don't want to be...
How's you going to complain about this?
I don't want to be indebted to you emotionally. That's worse than financially.
My neighbours just, oh God, they ran down part of my fence again. They're playing music all the time. I don't know what to do. I can't do this anymore. Yeah, I hear you. Let me tell you. See that trestling? Wasn't even there this
Handcrafted that. It's beautiful. Yeah, I know. Fucking assholes.
Fucking beautiful, isn't it?
I think they are.
Oh, God. So, yes, they go back to Mont's house where he lives with his old Danny Glover that he's got.
Yeah, Daddy Glover.
Yeah, it's very inconvenient, though. They've got one of those toxic masculinities out front.
Yeah, they've got a toxic of masculinities, I think, is the collective noun.
How you been? We shower in the same water, Jay.
Hell no.
So niggas taking showers together now?
Probably was.
That's fruity.
Yeah, it's 5 guys just fighting and jostling and farting and having a bit of a guy time.
Yeah, just trying to figure out who's the most man of them all.
Who's the man? Everyone says who's the man, and we've never gotten to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Who's the man? I don't know.
What you looking at? And I ask Nell these questions every day, and she's not deigned to answer me yet. But I've got a good feeling about the next year. And we're inside, and we've got a lovely little film watching scene where Mont or Monto, subtitled in Australia, just so we don't get confused. is talking his Daddy Glover through a movie. And
Daddy Glover!
Daddy Glover. And as we zoom in, we cut in, we realise he's blind.
He is blind. But he still gets to enjoy his movies through his Jonathan Majors. They go to their bed situation, and Jimmy talks about wanting to live in a house where he can have his own room and rest of a bed.
Yeah.
Crazy dreams, pie dreams, mate.
Bed and slats. And a mattress and a bed, and that's it. It's still beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's still a fantastically romantic living situation. But that's the problem with things set in beautiful cities, is I always kind of fancy it, even if it's just about a heroin addict living in the bottom of a bin. I'm like, yeah, but at least you get to see the bay every day.
The only way to do it is to be Mike Leigh, because you could film something in a really lovely house, but you still don't want to be there.
Because David Fulis is here and he's going to ruin your life.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And not care all that much.
The next morning, Mont has a standard day of going out sailing and drawing the kids playing, catching a four-eyed fish,
Yeah.
practicing his play, and then it's off to his job at the fishmonger's. So all as you'd expect.
That's what I expect at San Francisco. Where's my apron? Where's my social security number?
And Jimmy goes to work as a nurse in an old folks' home for a nice moment. Anyway, let's check back in with the toxicity chorus. Mont keeps getting close to them, and I don't like it. I need Mont to be protected.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, it's going to be one of those movies where his weirdness is a kind of shield.
Oh, good. I really always hope for that.
It's that kind of film. It's not the other kind of film.
Like real life.
Yeah.
Where weirdness gets you immediately beaten up.
He'd be dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes in and interrupts their arguing and chest thumping with sort of director's notes.
Yeah.
On how best to like realize themselves, and Stanislavski is mentioned, and that's great.
Guys, it's great. It's great. Very good. Very good. Guys, for real. Very good. Very good. Good. Excellent. I believe you. But I know it can be deeper.
Fuck you talking about?
Hey, remember Stanislavski.
What are you doing, what?
Grotowski, Oslavsky, Chekhov, Brecht. These are the greats.
I'm confused, bro.
But it's time to meet a new character, because there goes the car that Jimmy used to live in, and in it is confrontational old friend.
He's home alone. We ain't at home, but he's alone. He's alone with no home.
Bro, you live in a car by yourself.
Yeah, but I'm not alone. People like me. I'm liked.
Hey, I saw your dad homeless the other day. Can I have my car back? No.
Mine
Literally
now.
my car.
Yeah.
Look, I put that
Squatters'
sticker
rights.
there. Nothing belongs to anyone. What?
Well, then I can have this back. No, didn't say that.
There's an opportunity for him to learn this lesson too, because the mean old lady is moving because of a family death. So they go to see some sort of familiar-looking asshole. Oh, Big Short! They go and see the Big Short.
Yeah.
For advice about the house. And he advises that the house is likely to be empty for years until the estate gets sorted out. Years, you say? And they both do the wiggling eyebrows thing. It's a very suggestive film.
Yeah. And that's what the estate agent says. And he's like, anyway, I got to go off and watch The Five Bloods. He says man a couple of times to try and ingratiate himself, and that's all great.
It works for me.
Yeah. Fucking hell, I love this man. I love him and his laminate, the laminate horse he rode in on.
So they decide to just fucking go be in the house.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, you can just be in this house. Oh, there's a Segway radio tour outside led by a member of the Grateful Dead. Yeah, sure.
Is that really him?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, there we go.
This house was built in the 1940s.
Say hi to our neighbor here, everybody. That would actually be about 100 years late for this style. We can see from his gingerbread trim, this was built sometime in the 1850s.
1946.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you there, dude, man. No architect in the 1940s was building in this style.
That's probably true, but this wasn't built by an architect. My grandfather built this. He came here in World War II. He bought this lot and he built this house. The stairs, these windows, the columns, the archways, the witch hat, the balustrades, the fish scales, this balcony, that wall to keep you all the fuck out. All of it.
Because this house wasn't built in the 1850s. It was built in 1946 by Jimmy's grandfather.
Why does everyone keep saying it wasn't built in 1946?
I know what's going to happen, but I still really like the way he confronts the Grateful Dead. All of the Grateful Dead.
I think the truth that they're telling with that lie is important to me.
Yeah.
And they engage in more upkeep of the house, but in-eyed as well as out-eyed.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, all the furniture is gone, but she did leave behind some pure cinema as the two men occupy the space for the night. And having spent the night in the best house ever, Jimmy decides to try occupying it, and he visits his auntie in order to get a bunch of stuff, excellent stuff, that he can fill the house with.
Yeah. She pervs over her partner, which is great.
Yeah.
It's very, very healthy and satisfying. And
It's very wholesome.
yeah, and then
And he's very wholesome.
Yeah, God, they're all so fucking wholesome. Yeah, doesn't he have face tattoos? He's really wholesome. A lovely man.
He's got a lovely smile.
God, kiss his face tattoos.
They truck it back in an utterly serene scene, having
Yeah.
a hilarious interaction with a stuck-up neighbor.
Hello, sir.
Hey.
I'm Jimmy Fells. We haven't had the chance to meet yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Yeah, oh, yes. Welcome. Tim Ellery.
Sure. Nice to meet you, man.
It's a fast-moving market. I don't even remember a sign going up.
Well, it didn't need to, but look, Tim, I want you to know I'm going to be the best damn neighbor you ever had.
Well, all right, Jimmy. Thank you.
My pleasure. Well, you have to pardon me. We've got lots to do, but...
Oh, of course.
Very
Oh,
nice
yeah.
to meet you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The fuck was that all about?
And then it's back to the sublime sequences of just being in a house.
Yeah.
I'm mentioning most of this here just so that my quick firing isn't every scene. For the second week in a row, I want to quick fire every scene, but I feel better. I feel better about this.
There's less laughing at.
Oh, good. Toxic masculinity chorus are back.
Oh, okay. Speaking of laughing at.
Uh-oh. Good thing Joni Mitchell is playing very loudly from somewhere, otherwise I'd be very upset. Maybe they're blasting it. I hate that.
I hate that they're not allowed to like that.
Tell you what else they're blasting, though. Coffee is one of the chorus who apparently ran away from the cops. You should
Oh my
definitely
God.
do that in every circumstance.
Yeah, for the love of God, please.
If you see a cop, just run. Run like you would from Matthew Broderick.
And if there's a cop running at you from both sides,
Oh, shit,
there are more than two sides, so you can just run in another direction.
Yeah, pick a third side.
Yeah, you're allowed to do that.
The inside. Wow.
Go team, into the universe! And you just stand there.
You just... Yeah, so they're mad, so a fight happens. Oh no, Mont's getting involved. Protect Mont!
I know he's fine. He weirds about a bit.
He weirds them out again.
Yeah.
Jimmy goes to visit his dad, who sells counterfeit DVDs.
Yeah.
That's a pretty scummy kind of operation. Oh, they have Cliffhanger. They have only Cliffhanger and some Patriot. It's a very good operation.
I'm all for it. The topic is broached very, very, very carefully, and then not carefully at all about how best to squat in a house. And then it's revealed that he's staying in his grandfather's house.
Yeah.
Okay. Doing it like your old man. That's good. And nobody's come to check on it.
Nope. It's empty.
Good. That buys you time. Where is this house?
It's the house in Filma. Our old house.
Fuck you mean our old house? Have you seen the house?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll be over there all the time.
Didn't you know that's not your old house and that's not your black-ass neighborhood?
And his dad says it's not your house, or it's not his house, and I go, oh, he must mean spiritually, because his grandfather built it.
Yeah, definitely spiritually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also gets it into his head that if he starts paying gas and electric and tax, then maybe it's his.
Yeah.
He gets a little sass for it. So he goes out to the streets of San Francisco, the perfectly ordinary streets of San Francisco, where there's a naked guy and a frat party coach.
Yeah. And it's all very believable, genuinely. I don't mean to sound ironic when I'm saying that.
That's definitely all just happening. Actually, genuinely, the director said that scene used to get a laugh when he would screen it in New York, and it's like, no, that's just what happens.
Like I thought that the naked dude, like the naked old dude, was just surrealism, and then when the frat coach showed up and they all started chanting, I just felt very sad and sick and embarrassed for the species. And,
I know. But apparently, public nudity is quite common in San Francisco.
Ah, well, there you go.
One more reason why I want to move there. So they got to work on the house and some more, and then coffee shows up, but sans toxicity. Ooh.
Yeah.
In the city.
What's this? A man without his fellow male friends, acting normally and not feeling like he has to prove himself?
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. He needs to fight more.
Yeah.
So it turns out that Coffee and Jimmy used to be in the same group home. Now you're in a dope home. Time to schwitz, motherfuckers.
You guys want to go for a schwitz?
A what?
They get in a sauna and have some chats.
Yeah,
everything seems to be going really well.
Flaps.
Yeah. And some flaps.
Yeah. And some flaps.
Yeah.
They flap about a bit. At this point, Jimmy lets Mont pick out a room. So he picks the dining room. And everything is just music again in sound and vision. Oh, harsh cut to Mont's house. Oh, at least
shit.
Danny Glover's still here. I'd live in a fucking phone booth with that guy.
That's true. Well, anyway, then the two are moving out, and goodbye, blind Danny Glover. Hope you do okay. See you when I see you.
Why aren't they taking Danny Glover with them? I don't like him being there on his own.
Yeah, they are overlooking a serious, and there's a serious oversight.
Here. You can't turf us out.
An old blind man. You can't just.
Oh,
I know he's Danny Glover, but Danny Glovers need people.
Even Danny Glovers need help sometimes. Oh no, the Toxicity Choir are back, and Coffee's using everything that they shared against him.
Yeah.
What's that about now?
What's going on? Why do you need to do that, Coffee? What you got to prove?
Who are you, Coffee? Where do you go?
What's killing you? Who's doing this?
Mother? It's the corruption. So, oh no, the mean lady's back. So they go back to Glover Mansions on the bus. Yeah. And there's some noisy lady on the phone opposite being very... Oh, it's Jimmy's mum.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
Hi, Mum.
Hey. They have an awkward chat.
Well, I got your number. I'll call you. Try to come over there tomorrow.
Oh, I don't have a phone.
Well, I just have to come over there then. It's the best time to come. I'll be over there tomorrow.
Well, yeah, whenever. Come, yeah. Tomorrow, yeah. Fucking...
Okay. Cool. I'll be there tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
How you doing? It's been a while.
It's been a while since you left. Yeah, it has.
Huh.
Well, everything I've got going on is great. How's you?
Also great.
Squatting in a house?
Yeah.
living the life.
Ain't we all, son? Yeah, great.
Anyway, this is my stop. This isn't a stop, it's a bridge. Yeah, bye! He just swims to safety.
And yeah, don't have to think about that anymore. Thank Christ.
Yeah. Oh, God. And now their stop is hell for some reason. Just pure hell as soon as the doors open. Yeah. Something bad's happened. And actually, I'm going to bloody leave it there.
I think we better. had.
I think we better. I think if the OGT want to find out what happened to Jimmy and Mont and the house and Danny Glover and the Toxicity Choir, then they better bloody well watch The Last Black Man in San Francisco to do it.
Because it's worth it.
It is worth it. Let's talk about what we thought about this film that we just watched. What do you think of The Last Black Man in San Francisco?
I agree with the Google reviews on this one, Paul.
For once.
It's a film that at once, when I started watching this, I was thinking I can see its influences in classic cinema, like the way the characters are framed, the way certain things are presented. There's a certain sort of, there's a warmth and almost like a nostalgia for something that is still there but slipping away. And yet it's just utterly original, singular movie. We were saying before we started recording, going into this, I was really tired as ever nowadays. It was just a really punishing week, and I thought, I don't know if I can just sit and be with a film and give it the attention it deserves. And from the first shot, which is just this gorgeous tracking shot of firstly the girl sort of walking towards this area where the people in hazmat suits are cleaning, and then Jimmy and Mont on a skateboard.
Yes.
Immediately, I just realised I'd never seen anything quite like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was incredible.
Absolutely. It's such a powerful opening because it just immediately says this movie's going to be witty, it's going to have things to say, it's going to take an unconventional look. Our two main characters are going to be fucking great. They're not going to have weird... They've got this really special relationship, just these two men on a skateboard with Jonathan Majors just with his hand gently on Jimmy Fail's shoulder. As they skate together, and his sensitive, soulful stare towards the camera as we see from his point of view, various San Franciscans just sliding past, looking confused at these two men.
Yeah, the stares of white people.
Yeah, it's just everything about, hey, this is us, we're not ashamed of it, and this is what this story is going to be. And it's such a satirical look at this city, and so dryly comedic, but also so deeply soulful, both in its serenity, the serene moments, which are just so gorgeous when they're in the house and they have this space to live, and it really gets across the importance of having a home that you can actually call yours.
Yeah.
And although it turns out to be something other than what we think it is, it's just this wonderful thing, this idea that they have managed to create a lie for themselves, that they're allowed to be here and live in this beautiful lie just ever so briefly. and just have this moment for themselves.
Yeah.
And then the sort of brutality with which that kind of falls apart is just so affecting.
Yeah. It's so tough because as an audience member, you'll kind of, as you realize what's happening, you choose to continue buying into the fiction of one of the characters, and mostly maybe because of the tracking shots and the sort of the elements of the surreal, and the nostalgia, and just this gorgeous way of depicting everybody. It felt like a tapestry, or a tableau of tableau is the word I was trying to reach for whilst watching the movie, but couldn't because I was so overwhelmed by how amazing it was. Of all these little things just making up this overall feel of the movie, and it does force these harsh realities on you, but in strange ways. Like it wasn't a relentlessly bleak movie about gentrification. It was looking at gentrification from the perspective of was it John Talbot and Jimmy Fails? James Talbot?
Joe
Talbot. Joe Talbot and Jimmy Fails. You know, it's they've worked together for a long time. It's kind of
they're childhood friends.
Yeah, and it's semi-based on Jimmy Fails' life.
Yeah, quite a lot. So he had this house. He was turfed out of it. Then they lived in a car for a brief period, and he ended up in a group home.
Yeah. It's interesting because for all of that, it's not a film. It's not an angry film about and about bitterness and regret and injustice. All that stuff is there, but it chooses to take this whimsical, sort of philosophical approach to it. Of such is life, and
it's mournful. It's like blues rather than rap. You know, it's this, rather than take a sort of angry, sort of vengeful approach to this whole thing. It's just this wonderful rumination on the world that is slipping away.
Yeah,
these dilapidated buildings, these sort of crumbling spaces, these communities that feel so far out. You know, and just removed from the places in which they used to occupy, and it's just, it has this mournful quality to it of just, isn't it a shame, and isn't it painful, and isn't it sad, and isn't it okay for us to express how sad it is?
Yeah.
And that's such a beautiful way into this whole thing. And it is pure cinema. It's Joe Talbot and cinematographer Adam Newport-Bearer have created something that is not driven by dialogue. Dialogue is used like layers of paint here. It just, it builds up the atmosphere. That wonderful opening sequence where the preacher's words continue to be heard over Michael Nyman's MGV first movement, as the two sort of glide around this place, which is in these images that are the skateboarding sequences are just exciting and beautiful and melodic, and just everything is working to make you feel the freedom of those moments of this guy with his skateboard.
And notably, you don't really, none of it takes place in sort of central San Francisco. Like none of it is like, there's the occasional shot of like skateboarding down down one of the famously
I
steep
don't think they go down
road.
Lombard, but because
but it's all about how it's all about being pushed out to these suburban areas, and just forever being on the fringes, and you kind of see it when they're skateboarding through, and the constant cutaways to these suspicious stares from white people, and it does it throughout. Just it will just cut to somebody just staring at them, like a sort of like a trapped beast, just going, oh God, what do I do now? There are two black people here, and in terms of pure cinema, it's what I was trying to get at with tapestry or tableau is this feeling of all the scenes bleeding into one another, when you'll be following some dialogue, and the it's either talking about or it's kind of influenced by this feeling of displacement, and then you're suddenly watching another scene, and it feels like a series, this hazy remembrance, almost Proustian, at times, with the way it flits between things, and it just it amounts to just the most wonderful feeling. I mean, I can't wait to watch it again. It's truly remarkable.
Me too. I want to show this to more people now, and just, oh man, because it's with the cinematography, the love is so much in the details. You've got these broad sweeping moments and spectacular sequences, but you also have just the intimacy with which the men interact with each other and with the house. Just dew sliding down a slanted beam, or the light cascading through a window in this gorgeous way, and the dust that falls on the organ. And just these beautiful little human moments. And the performances are amazing. Jimmy Fails is fantastic in his first leading role. Who, just briefly, it's worth just going over this because I love the making of this film. Everything except breaking back into the beautiful Victorian house that he grew up in happened to Jimmy Fails. The director is his best friend from childhood, and Fails learned his craft by rooming with Jonathan Winters in a hotel in Tenderloin, and they alternated between sleeping in the bed and sleeping on the floor. Majors would be... Okay, now I'm concerned.
Jonathan Major...
Yeah, sorry. About Winters there.
Okay.
Which is Mike from Breaking Bad.
Okay.
So... Jonathan Majors would teach him phrases over breakfast, like key terms and script writing.
Oh wow!
And Fail said something really nice about Talbot directing the movie, because Talbot is a white filmmaker, making making a movie that is intrinsically about race. And Fail said, a lot of people have a misconception of Joe, that he's trying to tell a black story, but that's not what this is. He's a friend. He's telling his friend's story, and I just happen to be black. And I think that's really sweet, and I understand concerns about that, and the fact that we want to see these kinds of stories being told by the people who have lived them. But fortunately, there's a lot of black talent involved in every part of the film, and it's so Fail's story. And he is such a key part of why this is successful, because his eyes, my God, his eyes are just these beautiful things that just have so much humanity and pain and empathy in them. And then Majors just walks through the movie like an otherworldly being. With his little book that he likes to take sketches in, and he's absorbing things around him,
he's kind of mythical.
He is
as he wanders.
He's so compelling. Portraying a shy, retiring figure in a movie can be so hard, but he has that sort of Eddie Redmayne style charisma. That Redmayne has when he's playing Newt Scamander. I just want to keep watching Jonathan Majors in this role. I think I love these two guys.
I mean, a lot of the movie's success is down to these two. And again, their introductory scene. This is probably the last thing I'll say before the quick fires, because that's where all my really specific things are. The first scene when they are revealed to be the only two people watching this preacher. Their first exchange.
And they lucky I'm a man of God right now.
You think he rehearses this every morning?
Or they will catch these hands.
Seems a bit more impromptu.
And straight away that just it just sparked something in me. And really just got across the fact that these are two incredibly talented, charismatic guys. And this is a movie with a keen eye. And God, I can't recommend watching this enough.
Jesus, it for some reason it didn't make, because I saw it in 2019, time enough for it to have made my list, and for some reason it wasn't on there, and I don't know why, because honestly, looking back at 2019 was a tough year. There was a lot of good stuff, but I really do think it belongs in the top 5. Easily, because my God, this was
Is 2019
sublime.
Beale Street?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, Beale Street was that year. I think The Favourite was my favourite of... not The Favourite, sorry. The Farewell was my favourite of 2019.
The Art of Self-Defense was mine.
Yes, yeah.
I've since seen Corpus Christi, and that's gone in my number 1.
Oh, wow.
That was incredible. Yeah.
We should do an episode one day just about movies that have, that we've seen subsequently, because I've had a couple as well go into lists.
Cool.
Since the episode.
Corpus Christi might be a good...
great thing.
Modern classic.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, so this is everything I look for in a movie. It's brilliant portrayals of humanity, excellent performances, beautiful cinematography and visuals and editing, music to fucking die for, and just this beautiful heart to it of a sorrowful, elegiac look at San Francisco. Elegiac?
Yeah.
Elegiac look at San Francisco, what it was, what it could be. And it's just haunting. in that way, but without being miserable or sad. Instead, it's just absolutely beautifully uplifting.
Yeah.
So let's quick fire. Quick fire. I think my thing's the very first thing is just the opening music, right at the beginning. Not even like during the skateboard sequence, but like right at the very beginning before we come in. I love the music.
Excellent. The tracking shots and a lot of the if I wanted to be very, very picky, I could say that I could see Wes Anderson as an influence because
I saw some people mention Wes Anderson
because of the sheer attention to detail in the shots and the sort of framing of certain locations.
Yeah, how deliberately staged it is,
and the sort of the slow, melancholic, nostalgic sort of feel. But then that's where the similarities end because there's a level of emotional detail that I think Last Black Man in San Francisco and Joe Talbot gets into that is kind of left to the audience's. It then branches off and it's very, very different is what I mean. But all the tracking shots basically just offer a singular insight in this movie. I adored every single one of them, and they really captured my imagination.
And the willingness to keep stationary cameras too on like tiny details and close-ups and just oh man, it's the pacing of this movie is just dreamlike.
Yeah.
So I want to just do all my opening stuff at once. The first image of the hazmat guy and the little girl making eye contact, and you've got like a little girl playing with a skip rope and this guy in like a full hazmat suit. It just says everything you need to about this situation and the attitude towards this community and the indifference here. Then you get the first shot of the two men, beautifully staged. And then we have this opening sequence with Michael Nyman's MGV, which was, a piece of music he originally wrote for the unveiling of a new Paris to Lille French railway in the 90s. And it has that momentum and energy to it. And they're skating, and then slow motion, Jonathan Majors is running behind him and hops onto the skateboard, and then the positioning, the gorgeous scenes of the city, the amazing cinematography and performance, perfectly timed to the music, and the detail. There's a little moment it ends with where the guy's saying, "We are these homes," and we juxtapose between parts of Jimmy's anatomy and the houses. Oh man,
we are these homes. Their eyes. Their pointed brims, we move as they move. Our sweat soaked in the wood, gilded in our image. This is our home.
It was just sublime. I love the drawings and the notebooks throughout the film. Jonathan Major's character, Mont, and I love that his name is Mont.
Yeah.
He's keeping these drawings of the surrounding areas throughout the entire movie and people and faces, and that's just gorgeous.
I don't want to spoil anything, but his reason for sketching the toxic of masculinities outside the house is great, and that whole scene is amazing.
Is that when he says,
"You really don't give a fuck what anybody says"? I shouldn't get to appreciate them because they're mean to me.
Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah.
Amazing. And that's that scene in general. They're in the house and Jimmy Fowles is whisking eggs.
Yes.
And then then at the end of the scene, they look over and in the house opposite, they can see a woman, a husband and wife, and the wife is doing the exact same thing as him. And the mirroring there, I thought was great. And now wondered if it was Jimmy copying her because he could see it, and I thought it was just he looked across and that's sort of suburbia, and he's fallen into the exact same thing. But either way, I think it's a
hell of a thing.
Yeah, it's just such a wonderful little image.
Yeah. I think Jonathan Majors says to someone, I don't think that's true.
I was trying to tell him not to eat the fish because the water is toxic.
Duh. That's because they built the atomic bomb right there, nigga.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah. I can't remember what that is, but I remember him saying that, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters right now.
Fuck yeah, between you and me. There's a lovely intimacy to the movie watching scene with Danny Glover.
Yeah, that's my next one.
The slow zoom in to this sort of small room, and it's the TV illuminating their faces, and just the joy and the like engagement you can see on their faces.
They get on so well, Jonathan Majors and Danny Glover, and it's a sadness too because Jimmy just doesn't quite belong there, and he's on the sofa with them, and ultimately this isn't where he belongs. But just, oh my God, the intimacy between the two is wonderful. And there's a moment where he's describing there's a woman on screen.
The secretary is perched.
She pretty?
Yeah, I say she is. You dog.
Yeah.
And it's like he was embarrassed to say she was pretty. It was very good.
Their intimacy, their ease with each other is so lovely to listen to. Their back and forth.
Let me just jump to this note because I have just written I fucking love Danny Glover.
Oh yeah,
I love the man. There's a tenderness to him, and everything I've seen him in, I've really liked. Even when he shows up in a bad movie, I've always thought, God, he was great just there.
Yeah.
He's just I really like the guy.
Yeah.
And I thought he was very wonderful in this.
Such a great little role for him. The scene we have of Mont working on a screenplay or working on his play. He's standing on the deck, of like looking out into the bay, and he reads a line from each character standing in their respective places, and then he stops and writes down a line he's working on, or a change to a line, and then it cuts away, and that's all you need. It's really economical, but it's really inventively done.
Yeah. In general, I loved every moment of Monty trying to mirror the actions of the choir guys, of like trying to get the sort of street, toughness down. Yeah. Trying to adopt their physicality, and when he's trying to do it in the mirror by repeating a phrase that I can't repeat.
What's up, nigga?
What's up, nigga?
What's up, nigga? How are you, nigga?
Ends with "How are you?"
Yeah.
It's just so wonderful.
Yeah.
I also, sticking with Mont for a moment, I love his fishmongering get-up.
And
I love his style in general. I love his general clothing that he wears throughout this entire movie. But a tweed jacket over an apron, it's just pretty wonderful.
Yeah, the way he spends 3/4 of the movie with his notebook tucked down the front of his trousers. Is he wearing corduroy?
Yeah, I think so.
Great.
That's wonderful.
But then after an event in the movie, he's not wearing that anymore. He's got a bit more of a casual look about him. And I wonder at the significance of that. Jonathan.
Getting into character, so to speak.
The Segway tour was amazing. The vocalist of the Grateful Dead, just his vocabulary, the way everything was described, the way he dealt with interactions with people.
I beg to differ, sir.
Yeah.
Just
gross. Just there were these really lovely but also gross depictions of like comfortable lives, like comfort.
Yeah.
From gentrification, and it was very reminiscent of. Oh fuck! I wish my brain was working today. It was very reminiscent of something, Paul.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
I found.
Can only agree.
Yeah. Perhaps a little too much so.
I would say so. The director of that should probably have words.
Should be ashamed.
Yeah.
When the only scene we see Jimmy at work, he's shown to be good at his job, but his job is being a nurse, and that's just not going to reward him in this city. So he gets on well with all the patients, indeed, and his little interaction with the old lady.
You aren't my husband.
You're a little too young for me.
Yeah.
It's just, no, the whole interaction was just heartbreakingly wholesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I really love that. The scene with Jimmy and his dad, how quickly the dynamic shifted once he realized what Jimmy was talking about, and the performance. Like, he's only in this movie for a few scenes, the dad, and God, the story that he tells in his eyes alone is incredible.
Oh yeah. God, just raising this kid and just the only way he knew how to do, and just disappointing him on every level and knowing it.
Yeah.
But still, like, buying into this bravado, this false front that he can't drop for a second.
Yeah.
It's just, oh man. I loved every moment in the car when the guy picks them up. The filming of it, the sort of effortless glide of it, the vibe in there, and also the dialogue in which, you know, this guy is just being quite critical of Jimmy, really, and sort of giving out to him over his lack of relationship with his dad is quite full on, and it was just a really interesting moment to sort of contrast the beauty of the city and the beauty of being in this car with the awkwardness he felt with this guy.
Just so surgical. And yet the opposite of that at the same time. When Coffee turns up to the house and they have their lovely evening, he sits in a chair and Mont just goes,
It's nice to see you in that chair. I didn't know you picked that one.
That's an amazing thing to say.
Lovely fucking observation. He
thought about it.
Yeah.
It's just, he wondered which chair he would sit in and was surprised at his choice.
Exactly. It's just so much about the character. This is a movie that is really economical with dialogue. It doesn't tell you anything that would come up that wouldn't naturally come up in a conversation.
There's no exposition done.
Yeah. And yet it says so much and it gives you so much.
Yeah.
That just found myself comparing this to the Nan movie.
Yeah. Just relentless bollocks.
Just fucking turgid slew of shite and with no care whatsoever. And then this. And how different could you get?
I know. The way these two carry themselves through the movie is the way I wish I was in life. Just this softly spoken, like, obviously different, but sort of quietly intelligent way about them is, like, my aspiration.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the actual me analog is in the movie because it's a guy trying to buy Twixes from this lady who kind of runs this. I don't know what her deal is. She runs like a shop.
I guess so.
Where you can like order stuff from her. But she gives him like a crate of Twixes, and he says, "I said 16, not 60. How am I going to eat 60 Twix?"
Yeah.
I didn't say 60 Twix, Auntie. I said 16. I'm gonna eat 60 Twix.
How am I going to eat 60 Twix?
Yeah.
Great.
What does she say in response?
I don't know your life.
Cool. Like, what you do in your personal life's none of my business.
Oh, yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Great.
You might want to eat 60 Twix. I don't know.
I don't know, man. When they're cleaning up the house, when they're actually squatting in there, there's a gorgeous slow motion shot of Jimmy tossing a handful of leaves over the balcony.
Yes.
And as the leaves spread out in this gorgeous slow motion high def shot, we then cut to Mont, whose eyes half closed, holding a bin bag, like trying to catch them, but he's got his arms stretched out, so the bin bag is sort of open in a very thin oblong shape, and it's catching nothing, and the leaves are just again slow mo, just falling over his face, and it's such the joy in his face as it's happening. It's not about tidying the leaves. It's just about this release that they've got to be themselves and be silly, and it's so fucking beautiful.
And to take pride in this thing, in this place. I mean, just when they enter the house for the first time, everything about how it's filmed is just gorgeous. Yeah. And little moments like him in the turret, just staring up at in the witch's hat, staring up at the ceiling. Very relatable moment for me.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous. I love that because I remember doing that in like the flat in Islington when I knew I was going to leave. I would take time to just like lie on the floor and just look at the place and just feel that I was there and be present in the moment of being there. And it just, lovely, beautiful.
Yeah. The I that was one of my good things. Just the lying down in the witch's hat. But yeah, any moment they spend in quiet reflection in the house is amazing, and the witch's hat was just because it's got an irregular look to it, especially from like looking down from the ceiling, and it really stood out. The woman who moved out, they're these sort of educated hipsters, and it kind of reminded me of you know, the professors that Llewyn Davis goes to stay with.
Oh, yeah.
You know, mostly because of the grey hair and similar glasses, but you know, they're educated. They're very comfortable and
formerly a hippie. Is what the vibe I forgot. She kept calling him man.
Yeah, and a lot of the white people in this movie kept calling them man, and it was like clinging on to something that doesn't exist anymore.
And they've lost the spirit of it.
Yeah, exactly. And she really reminded me of that, and it was a powerful association.
Absolutely. The line
Great news is you're all doing marvelous work.
Was very Reggie Watts, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Yes, that's really good. Paul.
Michael Marshall plays a tramp in the movie, and he's singing Puccini's O mio babbino caro from Gianni Schicchi, and that was amazing.
Yep.
The skateboarding sequence with Jefferson Airplane, which then leads into a beautiful scene transition, is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the guy who's then subsequently living in his car when he hears gunshots at night and sort of pulls a tiny little curtain shut was just a wonderful little moment. Mm-hmm. When one of the choir guys goes to stand up to Jimmy after something has happened and ends up just crying on his shoulder. It's just, and the others do not give him shit for it. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, it's a real effective diffusion of tension in that moment, and it was so like I laughed at the way he sort of let his face flop into Jimmy's chest, and then it very quickly went, oh fuck, no, this is just Christ. But it was because of the surprise of it, and the release of the tension that I felt in that moment. The homeless guy who was singing whatever bullshit it was you just said. When he finishes his amazing piece, and Monk goes, "Oh, have you got anything else?" And then he just goes, "I got 5 on it."
Yes,
and the way they dance it's what a wonderful moment.
It was that's one of my favorite moments. It's a little later on actually, because he's back in the movie later and he sings "San Francisco, be sure to wear flowers in your hair."
Oh
We'll talk more about in a moment. But that is actually Michael Marshall who did sing the hook on "I Got 5 on It."
Really?
Yeah, so he actually did that. So it felt like a really improvised moment because then Mont starts dancing to it, or Jonathan Major starts dancing to it, and then the guy says, "Oh, sorry," and the guy's like, "No, keep going." You know, and he just everything about that felt so real and lovely, and I adored that moment.
Oh. That was good. Thank you, sir. What else you got?
I got 5 on it. Oh, grab your phone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, keep going.
That's so good.
Conversely, there's a moment where Jimmy has to speak to a banker.
Oh, God, yeah.
And you've got this mural behind him which shows like the American dream and potential and native life. And the conversation is just so awful because Jimmy is just trying to fight against the reality that we all know is there. And it really just spoke to the fact that I really was so fucking invested in these two guys being able to stay in this house. It mattered. It ended up mattering a lot to me, and ultimately the movie says something about that and about the nature of this house and wanting to stay in it and what that means for Jimmy. But nevertheless, I just really wanted them to have this peace together.
Yeah, definitely, and that the plea to the bank employee is heartbreaking. Because he knows the reality and he's embracing it and trying to reach through that way as well. But ultimately, it's just
as a human.
Yeah. No chance.
Yeah.
The conversation with the mum on the bus was really awkward and very well shot to emphasize that. Very, close-ups. Really labouring to show how awkward and uncomfortable both of them felt.
Yeah.
And I felt very uncomfortable too.
Yes, absolutely. The second talk with the mother, though, was really quite something, and kind of beautiful in a tragic and horrible way as well. As was Jimmy's father coming into the house and going to the organ. And sort of having his moment there at the organ.
Yeah.
Beautiful moment.
The real estate agent was just such a gross
yeah, he was awful. He was very
guy.
Effectively awful.
And he was, you could tell that he was very effectively and disarmingly charming. And very at ease with this facade.
So it's really just empty?
Oh, it's fucked up, right? So fucked up. Like, it bothers me. There's all these people on the street, and these big old houses are just sitting there collecting dust.
But shit. What else can you say?
fucking injustice of it.
Yeah.
You could see how people lulled into a false sense of security around him, and he's just very, very practiced at what he does, and it was a very good performance of that.
Absolutely. Everything around the play, the fact that the audience are almost all of the characters we've seen so far, even the woman selling the Twixes. And then when a member of the choir, who are also present, is asked something specific, he gets up and says something that just breaks my fucking heart. And then that's also where you get the wonderful line that people aren't one thing.
Yeah.
People aren't one thing.
And then the moment of revelation is just devastating.
Yeah. Well, that was my last thing, actually, so you go.
Okay, so the confrontation on the bus with Thora Birch, which culminates in the line, "You don't get to hate something unless you love it," is gorgeous and something I think about a lot.
Seriously, fuck this city.
Excuse me? You don't get to hate San Francisco.
Sorry, what? Yeah, dude, I mean, sorry, but I'll hate what I want.
Do you love it?
I'm here. But do I have to love it?
You don't get to hate it unless you love it.
The fact that at one point he just walks past some guy who's just saying Alexander the Great was a black man, and they don't teach you that in the devil school system. Amazing.
Yeah.
I've written the hug. I'm trying to think of what hug that would have been.
Don't they hug? They hug near the end, and Jimmy and Mont, and it's like one of their faces is very heavily squished by the other, and
I think that must be it.
It's a very tight hug.
The note made me cry.
Gotcha.
And then finally, I want to talk about two last things. One of them is the song "San Francisco, Wear Flowers in Your Hair," which is this gorgeous cover sung by Michael Marshall that we saw earlier, with Norwegian jazz artist Daniel Herskedal playing this beautiful, soulful horn, and it's just so beautiful.
If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear flowers in your hair.
Yeah.
And it plays over the montage of him putting his play together, and it's so soulful and beautiful, and just everything that this movie is. It sums up everything.
Yeah.
Finally, the movie just made me really feel, and I know the movie isn't quite about this, but it did just make me feel tremendous gratitude for my flat, because the movie is about space and belonging and the power of actually having a home, and how crucial that can be to your sense of identity, and how that's being deprived to so many people.
Yeah.
And it just made me reflect, because I think this week, and maybe for a while, I've been feeling for a bit sorry for myself, making excuses, feeling a bit overwhelmed, and just not appreciating what I have.
Yeah. You've been very flatulent as well.
I've been so flatulent and gassy lately, and I hate it, and I want it to stop. But I've been living in the Lewisham flat since episode 8 of this podcast.
Yes.
And because of that, I know that I've been here for 5 years, about 273 weeks, nearly 2,000 days. I'm going to hit 2,000 days this year.
Whoa.
I work part-time for a charity, and I get to come home to a place I love.
Yeah.
And I need to remember that and be fucking tremendously grateful for it.
Yes.
I'm paying rent, not a mortgage, so I won't always be there. There will come a time when I leave, and that's okay too. I'll be somewhere else, but right now I'm here, in this place I want to be in, and that's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And future me, if you're listening back to this episode, don't think that you didn't appreciate this place until it was gone, because I'm here now, and it fucking ruled.
That's good. That's sweet, man. And that was good to hear.
So yeah, this movie meant a lot to me.
This is a very, 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 very good film. This may be my favourite of the great movies we've seen so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I imagine the ordering would be like this, then Still Walking.
This, yeah.
Oh,
what
was the last one?
Another Year.
Oh, Another Year, of course, yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to rank because they're all so good. But oh Christ, I don't know. But this one was just.
It does make me think we should just be doing this.
I thought that about 10 minutes ago. I was like, imagine if we did this every week. wouldn't have any listeners.
But then again, would we start not appreciating it? Was this all the sweeter for having watched the Nan movie?
I would say so.
Yeah. Fuck.
Feast or famine, whatever that means.
Yeah, stupid humanity.
Fucking idiots, us included. Doesn't look like we've had anyone from the OG team, which, much like our other ones, really, our other great movies, it means that we're finding the right ones, and If you're listening to
that's
this,
great.
do yourself a favor, and if you watch it, let us know what you think.
Please do. We'd love
when
to
you
hear
watch
from
it.
you.
Sorry.
Yeah. When? Yeah.
When?
Absolutely. It's with you now. One better thing? I don't think so.
Nah, this.
It's this, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And just keep an eye out on whatever it is these guys do next, because it's going to be a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
What are we
Well,
doing
how can
next?
people hear about our hell of a thing?
They can find out what we're doing next on our hell of a thing by getting in touch at Twitter at OGTPod, Facebook at OGTPod, send us an email at gmail@ogtpod@gmail.com. And we have so many other things for you if you like what we do.
There's so much of us out
Such
there.
as the follow-oon. We have a Patreon where for as little as $1 a month, a $1 a month, less than the price of paying an angry man to punch you in the face is hard up for money. We have so much material on there, hundreds and hundreds of hours of the stuff. I'm trying my best to not say content anymore because I fucking hate that word. And yes, such as our Scream 4 Uncut and Boot sneak peek preview, a look at the Jerry Leslie Halliwell School of Film Criticism. Yep. We are working on our next Paul's pitch. Yep. It's very slowly getting there. And
there's a picture of my tits up there.
Fuck yeah! I mean, every other day.
Constant tit
What
pics.
can I say?
Yeah.
Every other day, tit pics. What can I say? What you're looking at. If the answer to that is us, and you'd like looking at us with your ears, then you can listen to us on Quest Fantastic, our TTRPG D&D Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Yeah, where us and Sarah, Jen, and Nell, you've met them all before, in different forms.
You love them.
Some of you more than others are all there, doing our thing. More of this, but also less of this specific bit. So there's loads of reasons for that. Thanks.
I'm Paul Thanks.
I'm Paul, yeah.
And remember, the one good thing about the last black man in San Francisco is that it might just make you appreciate the place you're in a little bit more and think of those who don't have one. Sorry, the idea really fell apart.